Croeso, dinar, Foilta, salut and welcome to Grailcast number 6. And today's episode is going to be all about animals. Never work with children or animals, as they say. And particularly we're going to concentrate on the kind of animals, shut up, on the kind of, honestly, you can't get a word in edgeways. We're going to try and concentrate on the kind of animals that need domesticating, like this bunch here. So Noob's done very well in getting his small holding up and running, and so I think over to Noob before I collapse. Hello Noob. Wow, your house is looking very fine. Okay, so today we're gonna see if we can tame some animals. Are you ready? Let's go. Mobs can be tamed if you feed them the right sort of food. They've all got different kinds of food that they like, and if you right click on an animal with the right sort of food, you can feed them, and some of the smaller ones can be picked up when they're tame. Now they all like different things, as I say. So the cow, I think, likes straw, which is what we're holding, and if you get close enough to them, you'll find out whether they like the food you're holding, because they will suddenly take a great interest in you. Gosh, they are noisy. And there's a cow, you see, there's a cow, seems to think we're very interesting there. And let's try hay. I think the sheep like hay. Oh look, right, now we've got lots of sheep following us. Now you can feed the sheep by right clicking on them. So if we give this sheep 8 pieces of hay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it will fall in love with us. Now let's see if we've got enough to feed the one behind it as well. I think that's, oh, we didn't quite have enough. Let's see if we can find a little bit more. We can get some more hay probably by harvesting some of this grass. Mind you, it looks like they're doing quite a good job of eating it all up themselves. No, we're not getting any more hay off that. Okay, let's try and see if we can interest one of these cows. Oh, look, a black sheep. You're a cow, aren't you? Trouble is, there's far too many of them all at once. Let's go around the other side, see if we can find her. There's a cow. Come on, you like straw. Oh yes, gosh, yes, it's trying to follow me already. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it will moo. And obviously, and the thing about this is that you can then get them to follow you. So if you want to move the cow into another field, you can do that. So we need to get some more hay in order to tempt these sheep. I think the boar, the pig down there, probably would like some apples. Let's see, do you like apples? Let's see if you like apples. Oh, I think he does like apples. Let's feed him some apples. Oh yes, and he grunts, and he loves me. He thinks I'm brilliant. Only got 3 carrots there. Now we could use carrots to tame some bunnies, but I happen to know you like carrots. You fancy a carrot, but that's not quite enough. It's saying they're actually owned already by a single player. That's interesting. I think the chickens like grain, so we'll have to go and get some more grain to. The chickens will lay eggs. That's quite useful. The sheep we could actually shear. The cows we can milk if we go and get a bucket. So I think we're going to go and get a little bit more food to tempt them with. let's look. Our barley's all right there, so let's I might actually want to save some of this grain. Only a little bit there. Let's do the oats, because we the chickens might find that might be able to get a well, have we got enough there for 2 chickens? We might get 2 chickens with that. Let's have a go. Let's see if we can get a chicken. Oh yeah, and the chicken's now in love with me as well, so the chicken's gonna... And the thing is that in the wild, these animals don't last very long. Their lifespan is quite short. But if you domesticate them, they will hang around and continue to produce things. Now the bees, you can pick up bees by right-clicking on them. If you can actually manage to, yeah, they move around rather fast, so this is quite hard to do. Let's see if we can catch a bee. Come on, stay still a minute. The other thing you can do is, of course, if you left click on them, you will probably kill them, but they do produce honey. Bees like flowers, so they tend to hang around flowers. Chickens lay eggs, so we've got a nice egg there for later on. Those bees seem to have flown off now. As I say, in the wild, oh look, there's one. Let's see if I can capture a bee. I'm no good at this. Come on, bee. There, yes, and I've managed to catch a bee. Some of the smaller animals, like you can pick up chickens. Oh look, and there's a little baby chick has just hatched out. That's lovely. It's fascinating to watch the native mating habits of the domesticatable animals. There seems to be a black sheep over there. I'll have to see if I can tame that as well. So we'll come back again in the morning and see if any of these are still alive and whether any of them have reproduced. Okay, so we're going to try a hand at maybe shearing some sheep now. So in order to shear sheep, we need to go and find the sheep shears. There's several sorts of shears in the inventory, so this one's on about page 4, steel shears. Put them in the crafting inventory. Need a stick and two steel ingots, which I think we can do. So we've made some shears there. I also brought along some buckets so we could maybe milk a cow. But let's start. So in order to shear a sheep, we need to right click on the sheep with the shears, and there we go, and you'll see a nice lump of wool down there. Let's see if we can get some more wool. Oh look, there's lots of sheep here, so depending on, I don't know how long these shears last, probably not very long. But I think even if they're not tamed, it doesn't really matter. We can still get wool from the sheep. And there's one that's still. Oh look, there's a little. Oops! I didn't mean to hit you. Right there. We'll have to wait for them to move again before I can get that bit of wool. I noticed there's a little baby calf that's been born since yesterday. So that's as a result of feeding the cows straw. They like that. And let's grab that bit of wool from in between you. So I think that's. Let's see if these cows are ready to produce any milk. So if we right click on a cow with a bucket, that doesn't seem very interested in giving us any milk. Let's try you. Oh, there we go. That one's got plenty of milk, and we've got a bucket full of. We've got 2 buckets of milk. Okay, so that just did a strange thing in the inventory. So there we go. If we grow some more, if we fetch some more carrots, we could probably domesticate some rabbits. And we've got, oh no, we haven't got enough grain yet. We need to grow some more grain. So domesticating animals really is dependent on growing enough vegetables and things to be able to feed them. And if you can, once you feed them, you can, they become tame, and they'll hang around for a bit longer. Farming is a very time-consuming business, so you have to be up at the crack of dawn to feed your animals, and often working well past sunset. One of the things about feeding animals, as you can see, we've got lots of bald sheep hanging around here. If you feed them with their favourite food, yes, you love it, don't you? They will grow their wool back. As you can see, they will also fall in love, and when two animals of the same kind fall in love, there's a very good chance they might actually be persuaded to produce some offspring, and there we have some offspring. And you can also, if I had a bit more hay, I could feed the little baby sheep, and that would grow up a lot more quickly. Of course, they will feed themselves as time goes on. Here we are at the seaside again, and we're going to time to do some fishing. This is a fishing trip. So if we find the fishing pole, which is quite close to the beginning of the crafting guide on page 2, we can see we need 3 sticks and 2 bits of rope, or 2 bits of string would do. Now we haven't got any string at the moment, but if we click on string, we can see that we can make string out of plant fibre, which we made in the last episode. So let's go to the crafting guide. I mean, we need 2 bits of string, so we'll put 2 bits of plant fibre in there, and that should get us 2 pieces of string. So we can then put 3 sticks in there, 2 pieces of string, and we get ourselves a fishing pole. Now, in order to make get some bait like a worm, we can actually get worms by crafting 4 blocks of dirt, basically sifting through, let's sift through 10 blocks of dirt, or nearly 10 blocks of dirt. We've got a lot there, and that'll get us 9 worms, which we can use. Now actually, this is we actually need to put the fishing pole there. We need to put the worms in the next slot on from the fishing pole, so that it actually picks the worms up. Okay, that's quite important. And then if we left click on the water, we can cast a little floater in there, and we see when it does that, it might have means something might have taken the bait. So if we right click on it again, we can pull it in, and oh, the fish escaped. Oh, well, let's try again. Let's see. Oh, we caught a fish. Excellent. Well, let's keep going. See if we can get enough. We might be able to tame a cat with it. So yeah, fishing is another game which requires a lot of patience in order to catch a decent number of fish. There we go, we got another fish. We could be here all day. I believe that's kind of partly the point of fishing, is to have a nice relaxed day by the sea, and just wait for those fish to take the bait. Let's see if we can get another fish. Yeah, So that was quite a successful little fishing trip. We've got ourselves 6 fish there, and oh look, there's a cat we could test it out on. You like fish, don't you? Look, it's coming towards me. Oh yes, it does. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's in love with me. Now, this now means we can right click on the cat. Should be able to right click. I'll keep missing. Come on, there we go. And we can take the cat home with us. Hooray. So we've got our own farmhouse cat. The grim truth about farming is that, of course, we also raise animals for meat, and they also provide us with some other useful products. So, sorry, cow. But we get 2 raw meat from the cow, and doesn't seem to have dropped us any leather, so I'm afraid we're going to have to go on a bit of a spree here. And, look, it's dropped some leather this time, and that's what we're really after. I think the sheep also will drop some leather. Quite a lot of the sort of larger animals do drop leather. Not sure if the goats do, find out. Oh yeah, goats drop leather as well, so we're building up a reasonable supply there. Following yesterday's slaughter, we've got quite a lot of different animal products in our inventory now. We've picked up a live kitten and a bee. I'm going to hang on to the bee for a bit. And we've got a lot of leather, which I'm going to use to make a saddle so we can tame a horse in a moment. And lots and lots of white wool. In fact, I think I've got 3 bits of black wool there from the black sheep I found. And we've also got lots of additional food. We've got 2 pails of milk there. We've got a chicken egg. We've got 14 legs of raw meat and 2 fish, which we'll probably get round to cooking in the next episode. So first, I'm gonna let's go and see if we can find some horses. Right, here we go. Here's a horse. Now, the way we tame horses in Grailtest, we don't break them. Of course, we do horse whispering, which is that we right click it with a saddle. So in order to make a saddle, we need 7 pieces of leather, which we've got, and 2 steel ingots. So there we go, and got ourselves 1 saddle. So let's see if we can get the horse. And by right clicking with the saddle, the horse then becomes this rather inanimate tamed object, which then works quite similarly to a boat or something like that, which we haven't come across yet. So this is our first example of transport. If we right click on the horse again, we can get on the horse's back and giddy up. Whoa, there we go. Yay, and we can go riding off into the down the hill and far away. The horse is a little bit difficult to control. Obviously they're animals with minds of their own, but yeah, they can provide quite a useful means of transport. And when you want to get off again, whoa, whoa, whoa boy, take quite a bit of time to slow down. You right click on them again. No, hang on. You can left click on them and you can actually pick your horse up, which is quite handy, although I think we're gonna actually ride back to the village. So there's just a couple more things I want to do before we finish up this episode. One of which is release the cat. So if we right click with the cat in our hand, the cat is released into our home. Welcome to Noob's Farm, Kitty. In the next upgrade we will be able to give the cat a name. Can't quite do that yet, but that's coming in the new version of Grailtest. Okay, so the thing we couldn't make last time was a bed, because now if we click on there we can actually see that we've got all the ingredients that we need in order to make a bed, except we haven't got any red wool yet. So let's go and let's pick one of these flowers, red flower, and if we put the red flower into the crafting grid like that, we get 4 lumps of red dye. Now I think we only need 2 lumps of dye, and if we put 2 pieces of wool in like that, we can get 2 pieces of red wool. So I think we've now, let's have a look at the fancy bed. Needs a stick to go with it. I think we've got all the ingredients for that. We've got 2 bits of red wool, we've got some white wool, we've got some wood, we've got a stick. There we go, we've got a bed. So let's put that bed in place. There we go. Now the great thing about beds is that when it gets to night we can go to sleep and skip the night through to the day. So it's still daytime at the moment, so that probably won't do anything, but yeah, if we right click on it, it says we can only sleep at night, but normally you can right click on it. Right clicking on things is often a good way of getting into them or onto them, as we did with the horse, and you'll be able to sleep. Anyway, I'll show you that in a minute. As you can see, our sheep are gradually growing their wool back. Quite a lot of the wild animals have died, but we've still got, well, we've got quite a few different sorts of things. We've got some eggs, so we'll go and collect the eggs that the chickens have dropped, and we could always go and grab some more wool. Well, Noob, that's been quite a productive day. We've got some animals domesticated, even tamed a horse, and added a cat to the family. So moon's rising high in the sky, it must be time for bed. And so right click on the bed and and then you can click on leave bed, and it's morning already, and we can get on with the next day. That wraps it up for another Grailcast. We've learned how to domesticate animals in this episode. So just to sort of sum up, as you can see, sheep really like hay, and if I want them to stop me following, I'm going to have to drop the hay, and then I won't be. I'm now stuck behind the sheep. Not quite so exciting. Oh look, lots of baby sheep now that I've fed them. I'm told the bears like honey, rabbits like carrots, chickens like grains, cows like straw, deer like hay, goats like straw, horses like straw apparently, cats can be tamed with 4 fish, as we've seen, and we've learnt how to fish. A rat you can pick up with a right click. I've got to get away from these sheep. Spiders, no, you can't tame spiders or monsters or anything like that. Yeah, Yes, I am superhuman. Excellent. Although there is a theory that you can tame wolves by feeding them lots of raw meat, but apparently that's very, very dangerous indeed, and nobody has actually survived who's tried to do it yet. So, as I promised, the next episode we're going to have a cookery special, and we're going to learn how to actually cook some food. So, until then, build something extremely weird and have fun.